Hello and welcome to the part 2 of this General Electric radio restoration. In case you've missed part 1, I will include a link in the description to it. Now, we are going to be finishing it in this video. I'm not planning a part 3 at all. It's gone on long enough as this project already. I actually made part 1 quite some time ago now, but for various reasons, waiting for parts, not having the time, having to work, etc., I've finally got around to finishing off the project. Anyone who has been following will know that I do have a second version of this radio. There's a few small differences to it. I bought it as spares and repairs. It does work, but I've worked out that it's pretty much beyond saving. So I have something really rather different in mind for that. You'll just have to wait and see what exactly that is, though. But for now, I hope you enjoy this part 2, and thank you for watching. Now, I'd say we're pretty much there with it. I do want to do a bit more cleaning on it, give it the old toothbrush treatment around some of these knobs here, the little bits that I couldn't get to. And we also want to try and salvage some of the parts from this other one that I bought on eBay, specifically the antenna, the aerial. There's not much else I actually need for it. So yeah, once it's all nicely cleaned up, put back together properly, we're going to try and get this metal strip off and straighten it out and then re-glue it properly. Because at the moment that's letting it down somewhat. It's got a nasty kink in it right there. And then that should be it. It works. Well, at least it works when you put the battery back in it. So yeah, with it all nice and shiny. I've yet to find a label for this top part, but that can come later. So yeah, and then it can be, we can go and find a nice place to display it. And at some point I'm going to figure out how to get these bloody stickers off of this as well, because they're just pointless. There's no point keeping them on there. So put that to one side for now. This one that I bought, I've come to the realisation that it's not beyond saving, but I don't think it's going to be worth saving. No matter what I do to it, it will never be in pristine condition. It'll never be as good as the other one. I mean, I don't know if this is coming across on the camera, but even this bar has a dent in it. It's got, it's obviously had something whack it on the top. The case is in pretty poor condition. I'm going to put some lights on here. The case is in pretty poor condition. It's warped. I don't know if it's been crushed or melted or something, but yeah, it doesn't fit together properly. The gauge is discoloured. The knobs are falling apart. It's never going to be as nice as it once was. And I haven't been able to find any other examples of this, so any parts that it needs, I'm not going to be able to find. It seems to work. At least there is life in it, but the wire at the back where the antenna attaches has broken away. There should be a cable attached there. Well, it's that, but even if you touch that to it, you still don't seem to get any FM signal. And I figured out what this iron rod is for. That's your AM receiver. So one of these coils will do medium wave and the other will do long wave, but it's all broken up and knackered, so you're never going to get a good signal on this ever again. I'm not going to throw it away. I do have plans for this project which are going to be subject to another video. I don't know if that's quite going to qualify as old tech revival, because I'm basically going to be cannibalising what I've got, but I don't believe in wasting stuff, so there's still some good bits and bobs in here. But yeah, it's not going to be a radio in its original form anymore. So yeah, we'll put that to one side. The one thing I do want off it though is the aerial. I do want that going in the other radio, because as you can see, it's intact, as the other one appears to have been broken off at this point right here. So yeah, we're going to get this unbolted, transferred across to that, and then we're going to focus as efforts on the original one and getting that finished. So we'll do a spot of time lapse now. This is not proving easy to remove. For some reason they've put some, looks like paint along the threads of this screw. It's stopping me from undoing it. And it's also sitting too close to this plastic for me to get a proper span around it, so I'm having to use 2 sets of pliers to try and undo the fucking thing. It's proving to be quite the pain in the arse. There we go. That is the antenna. That bit just screws in there. That goes along the top. See if I can show you on this one. That's what I mean. There's a little bit of it on the nut as well. I've just had to take off. Some sort of Loctite or glue or something. It was obviously designed to stop this from unscrewing on its own. It's moving pretty freely now, but yeah, made it a bit of a pain in the ass. Hope I don't have that with the other one. That's going to be even harder to remove because that's actually still attached to the rest of the radio. But that is the back cover free at least as well. I will put the remains of the other aerial back in here, but I'm not going to do anything to attach them. I'm just putting them back in for aesthetic purposes. So let's put that to one side. Time for a touch more time lapse as I take this one apart as well. Thankfully, it appears it does not have the Loctite. I'm assuming it's Loctite. The weird substance around it. So this should hopefully be a little easy to undo. Although there is a nice little spider's nest right next to it, which we shall clean out as soon as we get this undone. Oh, look at that, it's coming straight off. Oh, there we go. There we have it. That back cover free as well. Excellent. Yeah, that's what it attaches with. That's the wire that's broken on here. There must be different models though, because the wires are different. And they appear to be routed differently on this one. Or maybe it's just that I took them out of the way earlier. But yeah. There's something else that's broken. Look, this plug here, what's that for? External aerial FM. It's supposed to go from here into there, and that's, yep, that's broken off as well. Yes, the old one's had a bit of a battering. Never mind. Just there's any remains of any spider in there. But we can go. Okay, so I'll put this one back in. So we'll that went on there, and then this attaches over it, followed by a little nut. that. Now I have this little retaining pin on the end which stops the aerial being pulled all the way out. I'm sure when these were being made, there was I don't know, probably a specific setting that they had to have them on. They had to be so tight so that they knew they weren't going to come loose. But for the purposes of this, just going to nip it up with the pliers. Other than that, it's going to be pretty much finger tight. See, if I do it too tight, I'm not going to be able to move the aerial in and out, which I don't want. I don't want to be loose though. That should do the trick. It's not going anywhere. Interestingly, it's made them a bit loose now. But never mind. That now lifts up to there. Just plop back down slightly. Never mind, you can always just angle it. There we are. Now we now have an extension. Or an extending antenna. Proper one. For the old girl. That's what we like to see. So let's slot this back together. There we are, looking good. We can now extend the aerial all the way up. It's quite a large aerial as well. And once it is extended, you can just fold it over, keep it there. It's a bit looser than I wanted it to be, but yeah. Tightening it any further was proving impossible, so you just can't get any purchase on it. But that'll do, mate. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to work. So let's put that in there. Let's put the battery in it and see if we get any better signal. The little sticker I still need to reattach. I'll do that in a second. Let's give it a go. Hopefully I don't end up with any more ridiculous copyright claims for fixing the radio like the last video. For fuck's sake. Fucking copyright trolls.
And Leeds, IA, currently sitting in the University Library, composing a report. It's much easier to get through the morning with Classic FM, so good.
It's on Classic FM.
Classic FM, for a truly good morning.
Listen on your radio and on Global Player. Weekday mornings from...
Seems okay. Classic FM were one of the stations that issued me a bloody copyright claim last time. Well, not them exactly. They were playing a piece of music from Saving Private Ryan, which the studio then thought it would try and claim. Which is just balmy, but there we go. That's pretty damn good now, actually, with a decent aerial on it. That's enough of that. Now we're going to take the battery out and we'll carry on with the cleaning. Alright. Touch more time lapse and then we should be done. Okay, so as we did earlier with the World Band Radio, hot water with mild dish soap, trusty toothbrush. We're not going to go mad because this is pretty clean anyway, but we just want to try and get the insides of these knobs clean and the little bits that we can't quite get to in this sort of grill at the front. Again, don't want to put too much on because it's another paper speaker cone behind here, but yeah, if we can get it looking, well, at least clean, then we should be onto a winner. And we're going to find a way to get this metal strip off. Probably just run a razor blade under it to take it off. Then we can straighten it out, glue it back down. So yeah, let's make a start. We shall start from the top, I think. Let's do these bits that were proven difficult last time. Getting there. Again, some of the marks on these knobs are proving extremely difficult to get out. I think I'm probably going to end up doing more harm than good if I'm not careful. What I don't want to do is rub off these little black lines. Well, if I rub them off partially, then it'll look terrible, and then I'll have to rub them off completely. I'd rather they just stayed where they are, if I'm perfectly honest. Also, I could just time-lapse this with no sound and actually listen to some of my own music rather than doing this in silence and risking another fucking copyright troll coming along. Let's do that instead. Alright, slightly weird third camera angle now. The camera on this side has died, which is somewhat disappointing. Yeah, it's just turned itself off at 13% battery, which is just fucking wonderful. So yeah, that's currently on charge. Don't know why it turned itself off at 13% and not, let's say, 1%, but whatever. I think the battery in it might be fecked. But it is coming along nicely, at least. It's coming clean in places. These knobs are looking a bit better. Even the toothbrush isn't working on some of it. It's got this weird, greasy sludge on it. All I can think is it's been kept somewhere damp and dirty at one point, this radio. I'm actually having to use my fingernails to take it off. But it's coming along. So I'm just going to do a bit along this grill, razor blade this metal strip off so it can be straightened out. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. Got the stickers off also with a razor blade, so we've just got to try and clean the glue off them. So yeah, we'll do that. Should come off reasonably easy actually. Yeah, alright, so we'll keep time lapsing until it's done. Getting there slowly. Got the strip off. As you can see, just full of glue behind. That'll be alright. We can scrape that out. And we'll put some more in. Which looks like it should come off nice and easily. Yeah, that should come out. Get a screwdriver or something into that. Take that straight out. Let's just use this actually. Yeah, got it off. Just need to straighten it out basically before we stick it back in. I think there's always going to be a mark where that's been badly kinked, but can't do a lot about that. At least we can get it stuck back down properly. Get it flattened down, it'll look a lot nicer. Just need to get all the glue off the back of it and all the glue out of here, and then it should stick down nicely. So let's carry on. I've decided I hate glue. Fuck glue. Okay, let's glue this down. It's as straight as it's going to get, but I'm thinking if we glue it down all the way along, it should help it stay flat. Can't get that mark out. It's actually marked to the metal, but never mind. So yeah, let's do that. As you saw in the other video, if you've watched it, the Restoring the World Band radio, we're gluing plastic to metal. So we're going to be using the old epoxy resin again. Seems to work the best of all the glues that I own when it comes to gluing bits of metal together. As you can see, I haven't been able to get all of this glue out. I could keep going, I could try sanding it, but if I'm honest, it's smooth enough that we can push the bit of metal in there, so that will work quite nicely. So yeah, let's make up some resin and let's get it glued down. Knock the table, Stuart, that's brilliant. Alright, this is glued down. The glue has come out in places, but we can just wipe it off. Unfortunately, it doesn't stick to skin nearly as well as it does anything else like plastic. So if you do get it, you can just rub it off, it will come off. Obviously try to avoid getting it on your skin. Don't do as I do, do as I say. But yeah, it's looking okay. It's not quite staying down on this corner. We may have to clamp it there, but the rest of it is looking good. Let's get the clamp. Stand this up on its end, and yeah, we'll just position this on here. The battery cover back on to do this. There we go. That's a lot flatter. It's not perfect if you look really close, but it'll do. Just got to keep wiping the glue away as well. Unfortunately, that does mean we're somewhat limited on how far we can go with this. I'm just giving this a little bit of a scrub out. It is coming clean. Well, it's taken a while. I think a good polish will be in order on some of these chromed bits once we're done. Should make it look nice. Yeah, that's nice and tight. Haven't yet decided what I'm doing with the frost wire sticker. We're going to put that to one side for well, at least a few hours. Going to go make some food and have a cup of coffee. And yeah, we'll see if the glue is setting any better after that. Alright, next morning, let's see how the gluing's gone. Still got to glue that down yet, never mind. Let's take this clamp off. No, that's not too bad. It doesn't move anymore. Still not as flat as I would have liked, but never mind. Certainly never fucking coming off again. There's still a few marks on it that we'll have to polish out, but all in all it's not looking too bad. Still some dirt in this grill though, that's proven to be a real pain in the arse to clean. I haven't got any water. Let's just see if we can clean some of this out by hand. Oh, well, the brush is still slightly wet. Excellent. I think it's actually the bits of glue that I was scraping off have just got caught in all the grills. If I can just brush them out, this will probably look a lot better. Get out. Little shit. It's looking like this strip of metal is an absolute magnet for blemishes and marks. Every last little thing seems to be sticking to it. Unfortunately, it does seem to come off quite easily. Wipe that out. Right, let's find a cloth to polish it with. It's mostly watermarks left on it now. Trusty dishcloth that's never seen a dish. What the hell is rattling anyway? Rattles annoying. Stuff that you can hear rattling is bits and bobs for another project. It's going to be subject of another video later. Which is going to be candle making. True story, I used to work at a Volkswagen dealership in the service department. And of course you dealt with a lot of, well, you dealt with a lot of people that had a lot of different problems with their car. Now, unfortunately, this particular dealership was in a place called Sawston, a small town in South Cambridgeshire. And for some reason, I'd say 95 to 99% of the clientele that came in thought they were God's gift to the earth. They would, the real stuck-up sort, talk like they've got a pineapple stuck up their arse. You know, they'd be like, there's a problem with the Volkswagen. And people like that. And yeah, I could go on for ages, but I'm actually making a series about this anyway. Stories from the motor trade, and most of it comes from this place. But on the subject of rattles, at least every single day you would have someone bring the car in for its routine service, and you know, you'd talk them through it and yada yada yada, and then just before they go, oh, by the way, there's a rattle, so if that could be checked. Okay, alright, no worries. And at that point your heart just sinks, because you know what's coming. Okay, do you know roughly where it's coming from? Don't know. Okay, like front, back, left, right? Don't know. Okay, we're going to need to try and replicate it to find it. I mean, do you have to be going a certain speed? Is it, you know, does it do it on a motorway, country roads, when you're turning left and right? Anything you can give me at all? No, don't know. I just know there's a rattle. Okay, so you'd put on the job card, check for rattle, and then the technician had come through and say, any more information? I went, nope, I asked all the questions as I always do, and the answer to everything was don't know. So of course he'd drive it up the road, not hear anything, and then just put, yeah, can't find the rattle, need more information. And then the person had come back later and go, did you find the rattle? They're not interested in the fact that their tyres are illegal and the fucking suspension's coming apart. No, did you find the rattle? Well, no, we didn't, we drove it. Oh, you mean you didn't actually look for it? No, we looked for it, but without any information, we didn't have a right lot to go on, we checked it over, we drove it up the road, couldn't find... Oh, it's when you're doing 30 mile an hour on a country road outside my house. And it's coming from the back left. Why couldn't you tell me that this morning? That'd have been helpful. Well, you should have checked it properly. That's the sort of shit you had to deal with. And it's not unique to working for VAG Group, Volkswagen Audi Group, although the customers that they attract seem to be just the worst. I've dealt with Audi customers, Volkswagen customers, Skoda, Seat. I've done most of the VAG Group, and they're all the fucking same. Yeah, all just stuck up their own arse. And you leave work every day feeling like they're out to get you. And if I'm honest, there's no other conclusion that can be drawn from it, really. Is that these people want to cause problems. Because inevitably then it would be, well, given that you didn't check it properly, I don't think I should be paying my entire bill. And it's like, and that's the game. That's what they've been trying to do all along. And then they just sit there and fold their arms, and it'd be like, I'm not reducing your bill. And go, well, I want to talk to the manager then. And that's how it'd be. And eventually someone in management would cave, and they'd get some money off their bill. Just fraudsters, the fucking loads of them. Anyway, this is coming along nicely. This chrome bit I don't think it's ever going to be nice and clean again. I think it's actually, even though it's plastic, it seems to be rusting. Let's try it now. Okay, it's not too bad. Quite nicely. On the top I can't seem to get rid of. Once again I'm sat here doing this in silence. I'm going to time lapse this next bit and put myself some music on. Cleaning is still ongoing. We're into diminishing returns here. It is looking lovely at the front. The sides, though, and the back, and take some work. This sort of glossy black plastic that the rest of the case seems to be made of is just an absolute magnet for dust and marks. Even just handling it and making it worse. Yeah. We'll get there eventually, but it's taking its time. In the meantime, we're going to do something else. We're going to try and reattach this sticker. And I was wondering which way around to do it, but then it struck me. It's that way up on the other one that's still attached. So we're going to put it that way. I'm guessing the idea is you would take it out and flip it over and go, oh, that's the battery that I need. Or maybe that's just the way around that they stuck it on. I suppose if I handle this. Yeah, look, it's that sort of battery. suppose that is more natural than turning it over. Let's just stick it on, it doesn't really matter that much which way around it is. Going with the trusty Airfix glue. Partly because I can't find my PVA glue. Christ knows where it's gone. And partly because this doesn't feel like normal paper. This feels a little bit waxy. So I'm not confident PVA would actually stick properly. So we're just going to go with this. Don't need much. Even that's probably too much. Alright, that's on. It's curling up. The problem with that glue is it doesn't stick as quickly as the epoxy resin. The epoxy resin is sticky pretty much straight away. And anyone who's ever made little plastic Airfix models will know there is a time you stick two bits together, you've kind of got to sit there holding them together for some time. So what we're going to do is we're just going to clamp down the four corners. Seems simple enough. Looks like overkill for a little sticker, but never mind. A bit of excess glue coming out there. Just wipe that off. I'll just put that to one side for now. That should be sufficiently stuck by the time we're finished with the rest of the radio. I'm going to leave the sticker on. I like the sticker, I've decided. Also, the fact that it's still in brilliant condition after all these years means if I take it off, there's probably going to be a load of glue left over. I'm going to scratching up the frame. Nah, leave it on. It's part of this thing's history now. So, I'm going to try some compressed air. I don't think it's going to work. Let's try it anyway. And that has done fuck all. Alright, let's go back in the time lapse and let's keep going. Alright, I'm calling it a day on the cleaning. Definitely into diminishing returns here. I'm scrubbing away and it doesn't seem to be making much difference, and if I'm honest, I'm not really enjoying it anymore. this is a hobby. You've got to enjoy your hobbies. So I do think it looks a damn sight better than it did when we started. There's still a few blemishes. This thing at the top just seems to love getting finger marks on it. There's not a lot I can do about that. I've managed to clean up the back and sides. It's never going to be 100%. I could spend hours upon hours upon hours on this and it probably still won't look much better than it does now. And then I'd be miserable, which I don't want. There's enough misery in the world as it is. So, yeah. So, we're going to call that it. Just got to wait for the lid to dry. Let's see how this glue's doing, shall we? That's okay. We'll give that a few hours, and we'll put it back together. And we've got to find somewhere to display it, and that can be the end of this project. Okay, so the glue is dry enough. The label is on. The black bits you can see are the glue. They will fade over time. The glue does dry clear. You can already see in places it's started to, so I'm not too worried about that. That'll be alright. As that dries, that'll sort itself out. I've done this before with this sort of glue. The radio, I actually quite like. I think it looks quite nice. It's not perfect, but then again, if I was able to get it back to factory condition, I don't think I'd want to either. Yeah, I keep saying it in these old videos, to do that to something just strips it of its history, and that's, you know, what's the point in having something old if it's got no history to it? I'll turn it round. The back of it's looking okay. Just got to pop the battery in. Yeah, and then find somewhere nice to display it. It did have a nice spot in the bedroom, but I've been doing some work in there and that spot's gone now. So we're going to have to find somewhere else to put it. But yeah, so for now, I'm just going to put it back together, test it with the new aerial, but beyond that, all that's left to say is thank you for watching. So quickly, before we go, I did actually finally figure out what BS stands for. It's not an abbreviation for bovine excrement. It actually stands for band spread. And it turns out that back in the day, it's like a stretched out section of the medium wave band. So normally the higher end. And back when you had loads of radios all broadcasting on medium wave, it'd get quite crowded, especially towards one end of the spectrum. So what band spread did was allowed you to spread that out, and then it made fine tuning much easier because you could move it on normal medium wave by a small amount and end up on a completely different station, which isn't what you wanted. So yeah, they started including this BS band spread to make fine tuning on a crowded wavelengths, a fair bit easier. Obviously, it doesn't seem to do much now. There's not many medium wave stations left. They've all moved to FM and then DAB and the internet and such like. But yeah, I finally figured out what it's for. Alright, made a bit of space for it on display in the study, where it can still be useful. Fully extend the aerial. Oh. Let's position it over here. There we go. Looking good. Sounding good too.